Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the last session of the 2012 Get Organized Challenge. Challenge number 8, preparing for a crop or class. As we now take all the tips, tricks, ideas, work, organizing systems, everything that we've been doing over the last 8 weeks, and wrap it up in a nice, neat bundle so we can take it out the door to comfortably go to a crop or class. And I will say that I've gotten a couple of emails from people who, or on Facebook even, I think Kathy Steck posted on Facebook, I don't know if she's with us this morning, I haven't checked our list, but that she was actually able to take her catalog with her and make good choices when she was shopping at an event recently. So she was like, yay, it paid off. And it just really does. I mean, it is a lot of work to get organized, but once it's done, it's so simple and makes things so easy. This week's winner, Nancy Evans, I thought of dropping out of the challenge since I'd gotten behind you to work Girl Scout cookies, booths, and other events. But Friday night and today I worked really hard and finished last week's challenge. So congratulations, Nancy Evans, for sticking with it and staying on track. And to Nancy and anybody else that's on board who's kind of going, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. You know, the Facebook group will tell you many people have gone through the challenge for almost a year, like 3 or 4 times, and they're just doing a little bit each time and staying on track and putting their new things away into their 4-section system so new stuff doesn't get buried under old stuff. And so if you just stay the course, eventually you'll get there and you'll be so happy when you have. So congratulations, Nancy. Evan gets the $25 Scrap Rack gift certificate. So Nancy, sometimes we have your email addresses and sometimes we don't. If you don't get an email from us, please feel free to email and ask for your gift certificate code. So let's jump right into preparing for a crop or class. I'm sorry, I'm going to take a little side trip. I got an email from another gal who offered up 2 really great ideas, and I'm sorry, I don't have the email in front of me, so I can't give her proper credit because I don't remember what her name is. But 2 great ideas. One of them was that she keeps a go-back basket next to her workspace. So whatever she's working on, whatever she pulls out, when she finishes using it, whether it's an ink or a pen or whatever, she just throws it in that go-back basket when she's done or when she's working. And then if she has to go back and add something else that's got that color of ink or that colored chalk or that scrap of paper or whatever, it's all in that go-back basket as she's working. And then when she's done with the layout or the project and all those things that match the project are in that go-back basket, and she can take it back and put everything away at one time. And I just thought that was a really great recommendation, and it really does streamline. You know, you don't want to be getting up and getting down and moving around. If you put a chalk away that you used on a page and then realize later you forgot to chalk an edge of a certain thing, you have to go back and get that same chalk. So I thought that was a great way to sort of keep everything that you were sort of done with off your workspace so it wasn't cluttering up your workspace, and then sort of consolidating your trip to put things away at the end too. So really great idea. She also offered up another idea, and which is that she keeps a lint roller, like the masking tape kind of lint roller on her workstation, and then when she's done with a project, she can roll that lint roller over her desktop or over the floor around her chair and really easily pick up glitter and any little tiny, tiny scraps of paper, anything that's, that lint roller is able to pick up that stick to. So I thought those were 2 great ideas, and I wanted to pass them on to you. I asked if she posted them on Facebook, but I haven't heard back from her yet. So, all right, so preparing for a crop or class. Here are my observations over the last 10 years of traveling around the country teaching seminars and watching women pile into crops with 2 rolling totes and 2 backpacks and 2 tackle boxes and all the stuff that they think they're going to need for that crop, is that the more stuff they have, the less stuff they actually get done. So one way to think about it is to think in percentages, right? If you take 500 pictures and you only get 50 of them scrapped, then you've only accomplished 10% of what you set out to do. However, if you take 100 pictures and you get 90 scrapped, now you've accomplished 90% of what you've done, but you've only brought in 20% of the material. So if you try to think about it that way, it makes it a little bit easier to leave some stuff behind, because really what you want to do is get a lot of stuff done. So being more focused and more streamlined with what you go to the crop with is going to make you far more successful as a percentage of activity there. So Now here we are back to gather, right? You thought that there's no way Tiffany's going to use gather in this next webinar for going to a crop. But yes, and the first thing you're going to gather is information. So before you can prepare to go efficiently, you have to have the basic information. What's being provided at the crop? What are your friends bringing? I mean, we all have friends who, or we are the person, when we have friends who bring everything, and like their tools and all their equipment and stuff. Well, if your friend is already bringing a Cricut or already bringing some other cutting tool, you probably don't need to take yours. But by the same token, if the crop host is providing all of that stuff, if you can kind of let go of thinking that you have to have your own stuff, knowing that you can use the stuff that's there at the crop, not only are you going to travel more efficiently, and you're going to get more done, you're going to spend less time setting up and less time cleaning up, you also aren't risking losing, breaking, leaving behind, any of that kind of stuff, the products that you brought with you. So it's really important that you take some time to figure out what the crop host is providing, and then what your friends are providing. You know, some people have an easier way to transport equipment in and out or whatever. And then also what tools can be left at home to finish up a project, right? So important to sort of think through those steps. And then finally, how many hours will you actually be cropping? Because you're probably going to spend some time shopping and dining and even possibly sleeping if you're going for a weekend. Sometimes not. I've been to some crops where some gals have pulled a couple all-nighters, but those things are important. You don't want to haul enough stuff to work for 48 solid hours if you're really only going to crop for 6 or for 12. So take that stuff into account, and don't succumb to the peer pressure. When you show up with your one crop crate of stuff and your friends are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you came with so little stuff. You're not going to have what you need, blah, blah, blah. Don't fall into that trap. Go in there thinking, I'm going to get 50 pages done. I have everything I need to do those 50 pages. And your friends will just be green with envy when they're digging and searching through piles of stuff that they're never going to use at the crop. And you're just banging stuff out and having a great time and getting a lot done. So, all right, so the next thing you need to do is make a decision. Is your motivation for this crop photo-based or project-based? Maybe your motivation for this crop is social and shopping. So knowing really what your goals are when you go. Some people go to crops and get nothing done. They go solely for the social purpose. So keep that in mind too. If you really love the social aspect, really pare down the stuff that you're taking and take project-based things. So maybe you just want to do little gift albums, or you're going to work on your Christmas cards, or Mother's Day is coming up. Maybe you're just going to work on Mother's Day cards at the crop or whatever. So decide it's project-based. And if it's project-based, how can you set up exactly what you need to complete that project? If you're going photo-based, that's kind of a different planning process and different things that you need. How many layouts are you going to do? And you don't want to take all those photos. Just take the ones that you've chosen for the layouts. Gather your memorabilia together. Put everything together into a holding album. So make those decisions first before you go to a crop. Now, I know sometimes what happens when we're planning to go to a crop is we have great intentions of planning things out and being ready to go when it's time to go, but then the week gets hectic and we have Girl Scout cookie booth and we have sports and we have parents conferences and everything else that happens in our life. We didn't get any time to plan our crop or whatever, so we just throw everything in our tote and head out the door. Well, it's almost better in that situation to decide on just a smaller, maybe you're going to just sort and organize something during the crop then. So maybe you're behind on photo organization. So maybe you think, I'm just going to use the 3 hours at the crop tonight to take my photos, and I'm just going to work on photo organization. Or if you're doing a crop at a store, at a convention, like I'm going to organize these photos and I'm going to pick background paper for these 6 events or whatever. But you'll get a lot more done if you can focus in on small things rather than throw everything in your tote and figure I'll get it done when I get there. So even if you don't have time to plan ahead, maybe you could use the time at the crop to create holding albums and put those things together instead of actually crops. So there are some other options there. Once you've gathered your, gather your supplies. If you've completed all the previous steps of the challenge, this should be an easy step. You'll be able to pull together the right themes, colors, etc. in just a couple of minutes. If you haven't completed the challenge, you may have to hunt through your stuff for the things that you need, but once you've gathered everything together, you can integrate it into your 4-section system So you'll be moving forward with organizing at the same time that you're packing to go to a crop or replacing things that you bought at the crop. So let's say you're going to work on your kids' sports pages. So you're going to take that sports section from your 4-section system, but you haven't yet had time to do, your, I don't know, maybe you haven't had time to organize your stickers. So when you rummage through your sticker box and you pull out all your sports stickers and they just go into a box or a file folder or something in the moment so that they can get into your tote, as you work through that sticker file at the crop, now you can integrate those stickers right into your 4-section system if you didn't have time to dump them in there before you left. So when you pull stuff out that's not in your 4-section system, you can know you're just going to put it back into the 4-section system. So you're getting organized as you're also working. Packing it up. Pack in reverse. I don't know if you all do this when you travel. I definitely do it when I travel. I put the things that I'm planning on wearing or using first on the top and the other things towards the bottom. And if you do the same thing when you're packing up to go to a crop, think about how you're going to set up at the crop. So the stuff that you need last goes into your tote first. So as you load up your tote, so you're going to be able to pull things out of the tote and set them up and be ready to take out the next thing. So I lay things out on my bed actually, and then I just put them into the tote as I know I'm going to pull them out and need them. I do keep an empty paper storage box just for going to crops. It makes it easy to pack up papers that you need. If you're a paper junkie and you have, you don't have your paper in your scrap rack, you have an empty paper storage box. Let's say you're going to work on, I don't know, let's say you're going to work on Christmas and sports, right? Two big sections that are separated in your 4-section system. If you have that empty paper storage box, you can grab your Christmas paper out of the December box and you can grab your sports paper out of the S box, put them in that paper storage box, drop it into your tote, and then when you're working at the crop, you just pull it out of the tote and put it on the table. It only takes up, 4 inches wide by 12 inches long of space rather than laying your paper flat on the table and taking up a huge amount of space. And you can thumb through it easily. But when you get home, you can take that whole stack of Christmas paper and put it back in Christmas, and the whole stack of sports paper and put it back in sports. So that having that empty paper storage box works great as well. Same thing if you're putting your paper, you're storing your paper in the supersized single pocket pages. You can pull them, just those pocket pages out of the paper storage boxes and throw them right into the empty one that you keep. So it's a pretty handy little tool if you can keep one empty in your tote. Okay, so what do I take when I go to a crop? I'm really big on using what other people have at the crop, right? Some people love to bring stuff, tools, those kind of things, and they love to share them. As a matter of fact, I'm sure some of you are, and others of you have friends who are scrapbookers who love the fact that they are the cutting edge. They always have the latest and greatest and the coolest things, and they want to show it to you, and they want to teach you how to use it, and they sort of want to be the one who always has the cool toys. And so rejoice in those friends, and let them show you and learn something from them, and let them carry everything in so you don't have to. So it makes it so much easier for you to go, and you'll get so much more done, and they get the whole joy of having the latest and greatest things. So you're making them happy, and you're making your life easier at the same time. So I limit myself to one tote. Yikes, I know that sounds kind of scary, doesn't it? Paper can be taken in the superset. So this is a crop crate. It is just a collapsible crate from Office Depot. They range in price anywhere from like $15 when they're on sale up to $23. Folds flat, it has wheels at the back. It's wrapped in our crop crate apron, which is the thing with all the pockets on it. But it's just a big open square, and you can see I just stand my spinders right up inside that tote, fold down my base unit and the wings, and that goes in the tote. And when I get there, I can easily pop open the tote and start taking everything out and setting it up on my base unit. So here's how it sets up on the lid of the base. The lid of the tote. So you can get a pretty full strap rack. All those pages were inside that tote and the base unit. And now I have all these things right next to my chair when I'm working at a crop or class or a friend's house or wherever I am. So it really makes it simple to function. And all the different little tools that I use all the time are right on the outside in those outside pockets. Now, If you are using the crop crate apron, it has a big pocket on the back. And it's big enough to put like paper and stuff in. It has a big fold over flap. However, I have had 2 customers bring to my attention that they dragged the back of their apron, and got a hole in the back. And I haven't quite diagnosed what caused that yet. I've been using this particular apron that you see here since the aprons came out about 5 or 6 years ago, I guess, and I haven't had any trouble with it. So I'm wondering if it could be 1 or 2 things. I'm pretty short. I'm only 5'4". It might be that they're shorter than I am and they're leaning that crate way far over when they pull it back, or it might also be that the crate the lining goes inside. Let me see if I can go back. Something here. So you see how the fabric folds inside of the tote here? So if that fabric is not pulled all the way down into the bottom of the tote, it may leave the apron a little bit too long in the back, and that might be a concern also. So if you're using the crop crate apron, make sure it's pulled all the way in. The other thing is there are lots of these totes out there. The one from Office Depot is the biggest one. The apron will fit on 2 or 3 other ones that are smaller, but then it's too long, and so that would cause a drag problem as well. So just make sure if you're using the crop crate apron that you have the apron pulled in so that you're not dragging that back pocket on the ground. All right. There's my little diatribe there. It's kind of off to the side here. So this week's challenge is to find a tote that you want to use for going to crops, exclusively for crops if possible. And I guess I really didn't talk too much about that. I've been asked on a number of occasions about keeping a crop tote packed separately. And there are some big advantages to having a crop tote that's separate. There are some disadvantages too. It's an investment in something that you're not going to use all the time. Maybe if you're going to a lot of crops, then it's a little bit different. But if you can have a crop tote that has your scissors, your cutter, all your basic things that you need to go to a crop already in the tote or already in that apron around the tote, then that's less stuff that you have to dig out and put away or things that you might possibly forget. So if you can leave a crop tote semi-packed, that's great. I know that's not a reality for a lot of people, but it is a nice little benefit. And then you want to create a packing list of crop must-haves. And these are the things that you'll take every time. So if you can't keep that crop crate pre-packed with stuff that only goes to crops, make a list of your must-haves. Spend time thinking about how to pack these items, how they'll be used, and keep the list in your tote so you can use it every time you crop. If you find there are things you always take but never use, cross them off the list. So it's a great way to kind of self-check. Or if you find things that you're constantly borrowing or you don't have, maybe you don't have a color wheel on your list, but you're constantly asking somebody else at the table if they have a color wheel or whatever. If you have that list right in your tote all the time, you can jot those things down. Or if you think, oh, I wish I had my, T-bar, you can write it on that list, and so that next time you'll remember it. So if you get that list and put it in your tote, then you're always going to have it handy. So I want you to find your tote for going to crops. I want you to create a packing list of your must-haves for crops. And then I want you to decide how much you can do in an hour crop. Add 20% to that amount just in case you're able to skip eating and sleeping. This should include a number of pages or quantity of projects you can accomplish, cards, mini albums, etc. Use this list as your guide for packing to go to an actual crop. So this will come with doing a couple of crops as well. And just sort of paying attention to, I got 10 pages done in 2 days because I was really focused, spent a lot of time shopping, spent a lot of time, out visiting with friends, whatever it is. So you kind of just take inventory of yourself and your behaviors and how you really do things. We all sort of perceive ourselves as to be something, but that isn't necessarily what we are. And so just checking in with yourself, like I thought I was going to get 50 pages done at this crop. I only got 20. Why is that? And then the next time you go to a crop, you'll be able to plan better and be more efficient at what you take and what you get done. So you might also be able to speed up your process if you want to, but just a little self-evaluation that will help you get more done and be more focused in the future as you're going to crops and classes. One of the other things that we haven't really talked about too much, that I don't have any slides on, but was something I was thinking about this morning, which should probably be its own topic in Get Organized Challenge is organizing ideas either from the website or from magazines. And so I just kind of, if I could get a little bit of feedback from you through your question panel at this point, I'm going to open the question panel. But do you think, would it be beneficial to you personally if I did a webinar just about organizing ideas, and whether those are, like I said, magazines or internet or things you learned in a class? Is that something that there's a need for all of you out there, or some of you out there? Because I think it would make a good webinar if it's a topic y'all are interested in. All right, so I'm going to go back to the webinar pane. For those of you who jumped, to the question pane. For those of you who jumped into the webinar a little bit late this morning, I posed also another question, which was, oops, I just closed up my question pane here. Let me release it again. Which was, when I do the spring cleaning challenge, which is, of course, scrapbooking or crafting based, would it be beneficial to also add to that challenge a sort of a housekeeping challenge with just tips and tricks for different housekeeping chores or different ways to organize your home? So if you think that you would like that to be tagged on to the end, now if I put it at the end, that would mean if you're only interested in the scrapbooking stuff, you could log out, and then we could or you could stay on and work through the home organization challenge as well. So I'm going to go back to some questions here and see what we've got. So Sharon says cleaning and organizing would be good. Glenda said the Christmas one was helpful, so thanks for attending that, Glenda. I may be doing that again next year. Sandy says, I'm in for the spring cleaning. So it looks like there's a pretty good feedback there. Pam asked, I'm waiting for my second extension. I started with the system after the first webinar, and I'm about 10% reaching completion. So much easier to find things and use what I have on hand. Selling my extras and starting a 5-volume scrap cookbook. Very cool. Thanks so much for everything. You are so welcome, Pam. I'm so glad to hear about your success. Good job. Colleen says spring cleaning should be separate. Got enough organizing just with scrapbooking. Donna, I need the spring cleaning. I need all the help I can get with my whole house and my whole life. All right. I love the spring cleaning idea. Any organizing tips, cleaning tips I can get would be helpful. I guess I'm challenged in this area. You can't be good at everything. If everybody was good at everything, I wouldn't have a job. Remember that, ladies. So I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you need help, because you guys are job security for me. I think of it like that. When you say layout, do you mean a single page or a double page layout for using 6 pictures? I choose 6 pictures for each single page, for each 12 by 12 layout I'm going to do. So if I was going to do a double page spread of something, let's say birthday party, 2 pages, then I'm going to choose 12 pictures, 6 for each page of that. That's my personal limit. Debbie says, I like the idea of spring cleaning, a small area in the house too. I think it would be great at the end of the lesson. That way, if a person doesn't want to, they don't have to. So Patricia says, don't laugh. I never have been to a crop. How do you get invited, and how do you fit in? Patricia, cropping is one of the joys of scrapbooking. It's the modern day quilting bee, essentially. Crops, you usually have to pay to go, so you don't have to get invited. You just have to pull out your credit card or your checkbook or whatever. But usually your local scrapbook stores will have nights where they have crops, and if you don't know a lot of people who are into scrapbooking, you can go by yourself, and it's a great way to meet people who share your common interests in scrapbooking. So your local scrapbook store is going to have them. There's tons of charity crops. There's a website called, I'm going to put it in here to all of you, papercrafterscorner.com. I'm going to send to all. I hope I put all the things in there right. In Paper Crafters Corner, what they do is they compile lists of crops and scrapbooking events all over the country. And so she's got a little map, and you just click on the area of the country that you live in. I think there's a drop-down list on that too. But you can see then all the different events that are happening. Any store or personal event or creative memories event or anything like that that's going on, if they posted it on her site, then you can get the information that you need. So I would definitely, I don't know where you live, Pam, but I would definitely encourage you to find a crop near you or come to a convention. There's big crops at all the scrapbooking conventions. Black boxes are still on the screen. I know, it's so annoying. That's my question pane. So you guys can't actually see the question pane. You just see those hideous black boxes. They promised me by the end of first quarter that's going to be fixed in this program. So Glenda says, good girl to get your eyes checked. She owns Main Street Eyewear in Huntington Beach. And good for me, I have 20/20 vision. So I need my over 40 reading glasses, but other than that, I'm in good shape. But the next time in Huntington Beach, Glenda, I'm stopping by your store and pick out some really cute reading glasses. Crystal says, how long will you keep the videos up? How is the book coming? Crystal, thank you so much for checking in on my goal to write the book. I'm not doing very good at it at all. I have a 2-week break between this webinar and the spring cleaning webinar. And so really the time that I usually dedicate to prepping for the webinars and doing all that stuff, I'm going to try and dedicate to writing. So hopefully I'll be posting up in the next 2 weeks on Facebook that I've got. I have done a little bit, but I haven't done nearly as much as I would like in order to meet my goal of getting the first draft done by June. So thanks for checking in on me. The videos will stay up until we start the spring cleaning challenge. At that point, they'll still be on YouTube. I'm going to leave them up on YouTube for people who want to go back. And then the new spring cleaning challenge videos, which I don't want to confuse anybody, they will be scrapbooking, crafting organization, and then we'll do some, it sounds like we'll do some home organization at the end of those as well. But they are still scrapbooking based, or at least the beginnings of them will be. And so then once we start posting those on the website, then the other ones will be left up on YouTube for a while, but so you can get to them from YouTube. And you just have to search on YouTube, Scrap Rack Lady. I'm going to send this to all too. That's my my YouTube handle or whatever it's called. I don't know. So good morning, Merle. Merle's here, everybody. Merle, I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, Jackie says, Tiffany, I am not sure if I already signed up for Spring Cleaning Challenge. Should I go ahead and sign up again? If I have already and signed up, will I get 2 notifications? I don't know what will happen, actually. That's a good question, Jackie. I'll tell you what, can you send an email to customer service and ask for that to be verified? And because we can go to GoToWebinar and look at the sign-ups on that too and check, because otherwise, yeah, you might get inundated, with 2 emails. And I think that GoToWebinar program sends emails constantly, so we definitely don't want that. So if you don't mind sending an email to customer service, we'll check for you. I'm going to write it down too here, but sometimes my list gets buried on my desk, but I'm going to write your name down and see if I can check, and then I'll get back to you too if I get on that. Joyce Roberts says, I teach my scrapper to create power paging box before going. Oh, I teach my scrappers. So I'm guessing that Joyce is probably a Creative Memories rep. Oh, inside the box. So I think power paging is Creative Memories concept, but it's the same thing. Putting the pictures and the paper and the embellishments into your tote so that you have them all already grouped together. Very similar to what we're doing with a holding album concept. And the difference being that if you put your pictures and your memorabilia and your journaling notes all together, and you're working on sports pages, then you can just take your whole sports section. You don't need to actually pull out soccer embellishments and soccer paper and soccer stickers or whatever and throw them in with those pictures. You just grab that whole sports section and you have all your soccer with you and all your other stuff that you're not taking things out and putting them back away. So I definitely am going to recommend using a box method over not pre-planning at all, or something like that is going to be far more efficient. But if you can just at least do your pictures, your memorabilia, your journaling notes, and then take that whole section with you for the theme, then you don't have to unpack and repack the section, or you might leave something at home that you wanted to actually get done, actually use, and you forgot. So by taking the whole section, you're going to be good that way. Patricia says, how can we view the previous lessons if we missed any? Patricia, if you're not getting an email from us later in the day, you should be. So email customer service at the Scrap Rack and say, I'm not getting the GOC, Get Organized Challenge emails. Please get me on the list. And we will make sure that you're on the list. But they're posted on the website. So if you just go to the home page, click in. On the left side, there's a menu bar that says, at the top of it, it says Resolve to Get Organized Challenge. Click on that, scroll down the page, and you will find all of them. Meryl says, Tiffany is the master packer. I am a very efficient packer. I'll tell you kind of a funny story. We had just a crazy weekend, as you all might imagine, with the 2,000 member sale this weekend, and my son made him come in and work this weekend, and so I was showing him packing magic this weekend. He was very impressed with my knowledge of what will fit in the box. It was very, very funny. Okay, Joyce says, so everything that goes on the page to scrap in the box when I stack another. Hope that makes sense. So she's just going, her comments came through in 3 segments. Sorry about that, Joyce. Other people kind of jumped in between you there. So, and she does hers in 50 and 100 scrap page boxes. So really, you could go with that box and just get a ton of stuff done because you're really focused and dialed in on exactly what you've got there. Julie says, your scrap rack looks pretty full in the crop setup photo. Mine is about half that full, and I'm having trouble with my spinders pulling off the base. Any suggestions? I'm going to guess if your spinders are pulling off the base that you might have your base unit set up at the bad angle, which is not uncommon. When you look at your scrap rack, you should, from the back of it, you should see a solid metal panel with our name embossed on it. If you see the hinges and stuff, that means that you have it set up too tall. So you need to take your spinders off and flip it over. So please send, if that doesn't make sense, send me a picture of your scrap rack and I'll see if I can diagnose that. But that would probably be the problem, because yes, mine is really full, and my scrap rack is original scrap rack. I have the 2003 model with spinders from 2003 that, you know, I actually wrote the date on them, and so they should last and not pull off. So my guess is that your basing is up at the wrong angle. Jill says, I've missed a few minutes while transitioning between my iPhone and my laptop. Could I have missed this, but how crazy would it be to set up a rainbow spinder just for crops? I completed 43 this weekend, very full of detail and patterns, not just thrown together at a weekend crop. The only thing missing from my travel pack was some extra solid pages that I ended up borrowing from another who packed it all in the end. It all worked great. I completed everything that I had planned with even 2 extra pages. Good job, Jill. And you know what? I think that's probably a great idea. If you have your spinder, your rainbow section spread out over lots of spinders, which is probably pretty common, then it might be a great idea. We kind of talked before about backstock areas. It might be a great idea to have one spinder that just has like a sweet 16 for each color and maybe a perfect 6, and so that on just one spinder you have a little bit of each color that you could take with you to a cropper class. So I think that's a great idea, Jill. If you go to lots of crops, that's probably a really efficient way to do it. And by the same token, you can refill it every time you refill red in your big red section. You could go to that tiny rainbow and refill anything else that was red at the same time. But you kind of make sure that you always had the stuff you needed in that tiny rainbow section. So a great idea, especially for somebody who loves to go to crops and classes or gets to spend a lot of time doing that. Crystal says yes. Jill says yes. Organizing my ideas would be a good thing. Oh, so these are, what are they saying yes about? Yes is the answers to the, Stephanie says, I'm an idea junkie. I would love a webinar on that topic. Okay. So I think that's, I'm writing that down here, the idea webinar. I may try to incorporate that into spring cleaning, but it may be standalone because I know some of the spring cleaning people already have their workbooks. But watch for that on Facebook. I'll send out an email about it too. But I think it's a great idea. We are sort of overwhelmed with ideas and information with the internet and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try and put something together. All right. Melissa says, I would love an organization webinar. Yes, yes, yes. I'm getting very positive response. Merle says, I pre-kit my own pages, pictures, pattern paper, and anything like tickets, menus, and the sheets of paper that will match those pictures. I'll go into a supersized single and in my rack. Way to go, Merle. So yeah, again, just that same sort of concept. Merle puts those right into her scrap rack. Merle has multiple scrap racks, ladies. She probably has a whole scrap rack just for photos, memorabilia, and journaling. She has a large stash, and she's a multi-crafter, so she's got all kinds of goodies going on in her scrap rack there. But that's a great idea to just put all those things together. I think Merle travels with some supersized singles too, if I remember correctly. So when she's traveling with her kids at different events, she can just fill supersized singles, one for each kid. And then when she gets home, they're easy to put away as well. So Sharon says she organizes her ideas by how many photos. Renee says, yes, I would love a webinar. So I'm getting a lot of yeses here. I'm not going to read everybody's yes to the organization of ideas webinar. Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. I think the additional lesson on organization would help. I just had my scrap room built and now trying to get organized. Please have a webinar for organizing ideas. I would also like to have one that tells us tips and tricks for organizing our home. So it looks like those are ideas that people could be excited about attending. Armor Ashby from South Africa. Wow, have I enjoyed the challenge, and I'm all for the extra challenge of spring cleaning, which I have signed up for again. And how about something on all the ideas from sketches to magazines? So Joyce has done some spring cleaning already. Her 7 boxes of things have been removed from her 9-year-old's room. That was a major clean. So it looks like there's just a lot of positive responses here. As Cheryl says, I go to lots of crops just to talk. I am happy just to be with other ladies. So that's kind of what I was talking about. Thank you, Cheryl, for posting up that. That's kind of what I was talking about. For a number of people, crops are social events, and they're opportunities to see what everybody else is working on, what new products are out there in the marketplace. Well, if you know yourself, as Cheryl obviously does, then you might want to take a little something to work on, obviously, or photos to sort or something. But don't overwhelm yourself trying to get to a crop when what you really want to do is go and be social. And don't feel bad or, I don't know, don't feel like that's not a good idea. It's a great idea. Crops are the modern day quilting bee, and one of the reasons we love to go is so we can be with other girls and mostly stay out of trouble. I know some of us get in a little trouble at crops and clashes, but it mostly has to do with the balance on our credit cards, not so much any other thing that we're doing. A couple of people say you might check with meetup sites for activities near you. Oh, yes, for the gal who was looking for crops near her. So Patricia Lawson, meetup is a great way to find scrapbooking events as well. Kathy says, I want to thank you. I started with the organizing my paper and have spent the last weeks working on a complete scrap room. Cleared out a room, painted it, and only putting back organized stuff. Yay! Now I need help organizing all the junk I took out of the scrap room. So I'm in for the spring cleaning session. Thanks so much. All right, so it looks like that's kind of a win. Again, many memory makers or many creative memories consultants hold crops, so you can also get on the Creative Memories website and find a crop near you. Just a lot of good positive posts here. If I'm missing anybody, if anybody asks a specific question, there's lots and lots going on here. Glenda, I'll be in. Next time I'm in Huntington Beach, I'm coming to your store. Are we still doing the photo organization webinar next Tuesday? I don't know about that. Do we have a Tuesday webinar? But, oh, yes. I am so glad you brought that up, Stephanie. Yes, we skipped, yeah. So I guess I'm not taking 2 weeks off to write, but I'm going to have a week off to write. Yes, next Tuesday is the makeup webinar for the one we missed because I had computer problems. So thank you for the reminder on that. You're absolutely right. I will send out an email about that as well. Yes, she'll be reminded about that. Benita asked if we'll be reminded about the spring cleaning email by email. Yes, you will. Jan says, thank you for leaving them up. I try to fit them in, but it's so helpful to go over your actual speeches. You're great. Thanks, Jan. How do I sign up for the spring cleaning series? I'm going to send out an email about it. So if you haven't already seen it or seen a link to it or something somewhere, I know there's some floating around, you'll get an email that goes out about it probably in the next week or the next, well, we leave for Portland on Thursday. So our first scrapbooking show of the year, anybody that's in the Portland area that's coming to the Creating Keepsakes Portland, Oregon Scrapbook Convention, please stop by and say hi in the booth. But I'll try and get that email out before Portland. If not, it'll be early next week. Nancy says, thank you for providing the webinars. I'm excited to be The winner this week. Good thing I didn't quit. I will see you in Portland. Absolutely, Nancy. And you can use your gift certificate in Portland, too. If you want to do that, that's fine. How do I sign up for the spring cleaning? You're going to get an email. Jennifer said, you may already answer this, but will you be doing this webinar again? Will the spring cleaning be tagged onto it? I'm actually confusing everybody. The next scrapbook webinar is called the Spring Cleaning Challenge, and it is scrapbooking. And then I got this crazy idea, and I just started talking about adding to the end of that, or the end of each session, a household spring cleaning challenge as well. So the spring cleaning challenge will be both scrapbooking and home organization as a mini task tagged at the end. Now I'm going to have to be more clear about that, but they are one and the same. So you can watch the whole thing again, or you can tune in, kind of get to the end about where the household one was. Now I'm excited about the household one. Maybe I'll have to do that as a totally separate one. Do you, ladies, do you wonder how I ever get anything done? Because this is how my brain works. I just like start knocking ideas around, and then they float all around in the room until they bounce back into my head in some sort of order. But I may do too now that I'm thinking about it. So I will post information everywhere to get the word out to what is really going to happen. Merle's rack is full enough that her pages stand up straight. So that probably means Merle's going to be picking up another base unit at the Columbus show. So Linda says, I ordered a scrap rack travel pack and want to choose it for a crop. I'm going to in a couple of weeks, hoping I can put in some of my organized supplies. Still have a lot to do. Hoping I will get more done with this time. Hope I get my travel pack in time. If you ordered their travel pack this weekend, I think they all went out the door. The final shipment of them went out yesterday, so it should be on its way. Colleen says, I have my ideas organized, but I'm sure there is a better way to organize them. Would love this. Don't know that that's true, Colleen, but you might be able to give us some insight into how you do it as well. One of the beautiful things about the Facebook group is when we talk about something like this, other people can get in and put in their ideas and what's working for them, because we're all a little bit different. And so one of the things I've really enjoyed in the Facebooking group is listening how people are solving, helping other people solve their problems with space or whatever it is, because they're in that exact same situation. So I'm sure your ideas will be valuable, and they may be exactly the same as mine. Lorena, when I prepare for a crop in my Creative Memories Power Sort, I can do 30 layouts, and I take the box with me. If I run out of pages, we are having a retreat in 25 days, and I'm so trying to get organized. I will be with you for the next class and the next until it becomes a habit. Thank you, Tiffany. You're so welcome, Lorena. Yes, and please join us as often as you like. There's some more questions about signing up. Judy says, does anyone else still use scissors? How do you keep track of your scissors? Decal, wave, etc. I seem to always duplicate them. And that's a great question, Judy. What you need to do is just make a page in your catalog. So with your stamps or your punches or your Cricut or all of those other things, just to make a page that is for your decorative edge scissors, where you just cut a strip of paper showing that edge and write the name of the style or the number of the style and the manufacturer name. And then when you're shopping, you can take your little catalog with you. And I know some people have done these just in a little tiny small notebook that they can easily put into their purse as well. So I don't know if you want to do two, one that's purse size and one that's going to fit on your scrap rack or in your 4-section system. But just having the samples of how the scissors are cut out. And if you have lots of scissors, you can put a number. Even if the handles are black, you can use the silver Sharpie and write the number on the top of the scissor so that you can pull it out really easily and find exactly the one that you want. But just apply that thing. The reason I love this question is because it just shows that you can apply the same theories that we've learned over the last 8 weeks to other different things. So with decorative edge scissors, make yourself a catalog sheet, number them if you're hanging them on a wall or on pegboard, or if you have them standing up in a row in some sort of container, that you know this is decorative edge scissor number 25. You can go right to the wall, pull off number 25. You don't have to guess. When you're done with that scissor, you know exactly where it goes back in place. So all of those same concepts that we've talked about, think about how you could apply those to whatever item or product that you're using at the time. Let's see. is this the one added to the end in place of the, yes, this is the tech problem one. Stephanie brought to my attention, so thank you again for that, Stephanie. Let's see. What is the topic of the makeup webinar? It's either photo, we did photos, right? So this would be memorabilia and holding albums, I'm pretty sure. I have to take a look at my schedule, at my thing. I've done so many things lately. I'm a little bit confused, but I think it's the second part of the photo one. So it'll be holding memorabilia, journaling notes, and creating a holding album. The next webinar is an evening webinar. It's at 6 o'clock on Mondays. Sue, we're going to see you in Portland. Nice. Heidi says, I'm very excited about the home one. My brain works like that. You must be ADD. Yes, I am. Lorena says, we have become a great think tank. And we have. Our Facebook group is an excellent think tank. Jennifer says, thank you huge for these webinars. Well, I have not organized yet. Ugh. They are so helpful. I'll be organizing before the year is over. That's great, Jennifer, and feel free to stay on with the Facebook group too and just keep that inspiration and motivation going. So Debbie says, the makeup one is photo storage. Yeah, you gave us the option to have a week off or to do it on Thursday that week. Oh, okay, good. That's why I'm thinking, which one was it? Okay, so it's the photo storage one, and for those of you who joined us for the Thursday edition, you can certainly join us again next Tuesday and get the photo storage webinar again, or you can skip it if you already did the Thursday one and you don't need it. Becky says, sorry I had to join late. Did you tell where the old videos are held? Is there a link? So you can find them right now on the website. So when you just click into the website in the upper left-hand corner, click on the Get Organized Challenge, and then just scroll down the page and you'll find them. You can also find them on YouTube if you search Scrap Rack Lady. That's me on YouTube. You will be able to find them, and they will stay up there through the spring challenge, and then I'll probably start taking them down and leave the spring challenge up when we get into the summer challenge. So, all right, it looks like that is the end of the question list. If I missed anybody, like I said, there are hundreds of them kind of stacked up, and most of them are just feedback on the 2 webinars. Feel free to email me or email customer service or post on Facebook. For those of you who are posting on Facebook, the Facebook group is really, really active, and the new Facebook group about new products is really, really active. And I try to stay kind of aware of what's going on there, but sometimes stuff just gets lost in there. I don't know where it goes in Facebook. Sometimes just kind of, I don't know. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But please feel free to email me or email customer service if you have a specific question and you didn't get an answer to it on Facebook. I'm happy to do that as well. But I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you if you didn't get an answer to something because it may have just gotten buried. I have one last question popped up from Heidi. I may have missed this, but do you pack the entire rainbow section? And I do, because color is color's a thing you're going to use constantly. So, and then it just depends. So, like if I'm going to work on Christmas, I have 3 spinders of rainbow. I'm going to take all 3 of those spinders, and then I'm going to take my 2 Christmas spinders. So I'm going to end up with 5. Well, it's not Christmas, it's winter, but it includes Christmas. So I'm going to end up with 5 spinders altogether when I go to a crop working on those themes. Now, I thought that Jill's recommendation to keep a mini spinder or a spinder that has a little bit of all the colors on it was a great suggestion for going to crops and classes too, because you would have a little bit of glitter and a little bit of brads and eyelets and whatever, those kinds of things that are just color on one spinder. So if you're taking lots of other spinders, then that might be beneficial to you. But if you think about it, when you're going to a crop, and I guess it depends if you're going for 2 hours or 6 hours or a weekend, you're probably going to work, or if you can work, in one theme. So if you say, okay, at this event, I'm only going to work on Christmas, then really what you need is your rainbow and your winter spinders. So you don't, just because you have a double base unit with 14 spinders on it, you don't need to take your sports section and your baby section, your birthday section, your camping section if you're going to work on Christmas. So you probably can take multiple rainbow spinders, which is, I'm guessing, what Heidi's asking there about taking the entire rainbow section. Jana says, it would be good if you could pull out ideas and photos from Facebook and put it on your website for those of us who do not Facebook. That is a good idea. I'll see what we can do there. All right, I'll check into that, Jana. Sorry, that was me writing down. Shelley says, where is the info on the website regarding the spring cleaning challenge? I don't think it's posted yet. Shelley, I think if you go to, I don't know, I don't think it's posted yet. I mean, I know it's in there somewhere. It says sign up for the next challenge, or sign up for the next challenge. When you click the link, it takes you to the spring cleaning challenge because this one is almost over. But I'll definitely get an email out to everybody so y'all know. Nancy says the Michaels website has an example of samples album for inks, stamps, cardstock, punches, etc., just like you described for us, in case other people want to see another execution of the idea. So Michael says, I'm going to have to check that out. Maybe I could post that, share that on our website too. Do you have an address I can send a card to you? We do. Our address is T. I'm going to send this to you, design. Well, I'm going to give you the post office box because probably, oops, PO Box 1256, Tacoma, Washington 98401. I would love to see your work. Okay. Oh, Nancy says when you go to the Learn tab on the website, you can click on Learn, and then it has the different events that are going on, and when you click on it, it's there. When you go to crops, do you have specific layouts in mind, or do you just wait till you get the inspiration? From Candace, both. So there are definitely times when I'm working on something and I have a vision for what that's going to look like, and that makes it super simple to pack up the supplies that I need. But that's not always the case. So, but when I do have a vision, I put all those things together, and usually if I have a vision, it's because I've seen something in a magazine or online, and so then I'm going to print that layout or that design idea right off the computer or tear it out of a magazine and put it right in with my pictures, my memorabilia, and the supplies I'm going to use. So I'm not relying on my memory. It's just all right there together. But I operate under both situations. Is that address posted on the website, Contact Me, etc.? I think so. I'm pretty sure it is on the website under Contact Us. But it's just our P.O. box. So I think I sent it to all. I don't know how that all works, if everybody can see it when we do that. So, but I'm pretty sure it's on the website. Shelley says, thank you. Thank you to who said where to find the spring cleaning. I knew I had seen it there somewhere. That was Glenda. Was it Glenda? And let's see. Click on the Learn tab. Now I can't find it. There's so many pop-ups between now and then. Oh, no, Nancy. Nancy found it on the Learn tab. So thanks, Nancy, for sharing that. All right, gang, it's time to log out. And so I will see those of you who are joining us again for the photo organizing webinar same time next Tuesday right here, my little desk chair with my fuzzy bunny slippers. I don't really have my fuzzy bunny slippers. I'm working at the office now instead of at home. That's now on real clothes. It's such a bummer. All right, so I will see you guys on Facebook. I will see some of you next Tuesday for the photo organizing webinar, but I'll get some information out about that too so everybody knows what's going on and wants to pop in for it. Have a great week. Get your stuff organized and start thinking about how you crop and what you need to crop and sort of planning ahead so that when you do go to your next crop, half of what you need to do is already done for you. So it'll be so much easier and so much more efficient. All right, all take care. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.